and enabling workforce collaboration. So one of the things I really want to do is welcome all of you and say thank you for taking time out of your busy schedules. Now is the time where, you know, there's a lot of uncertainty out there. There's a lot of uncertainty in our personal lives and our business, and I very much appreciate you guys taking time to really kind of go through, you know, these kinds of solutions with us and things we want to talk about today. A few housekeeping notes. So with that, I would like to introduce you guys to the folks that will be speaking with us today. First of all, we have David Rabin, who is our Vice President of Worldwide Commercial Marketing, who will be speaking with us. Joseph Mingori, who is the General Manager and Executive Director of our overall Smart Office business worldwide. Tom Butler, who's the Executive Director of our Core and Commercial Product Portfolio. June Dayon, who's a Senior Product Manager within the Smart Office team. So, you know, what will we address? Let's kind of set the stage for what you guys are going to get today. We kind of want to sit and, you know, what does this kind of world scenario mean for the future of work, and kind of how does Lenovo see that playing out over time? So we're going to talk about that. And kind of along that same line, what is business technology going to look like moving forward? The paradigm shift has kind of happened with this whole remote work and working from home thing. So what does that mean from a technology standpoint and the things that we're going to be bringing into play with regard to that? The other thing is, how can business be better prepare their employees, right? So there's so many people that are for the first time maybe working from home or working remotely. We've got some tricks and traps. We actually have a lot of folks at Lenovo that work remotely. We want to talk a little bit about how we go after, you know, helping that and maintaining our productivity as we go through that. And then at the very end, Rich is going to jump in some of the technologies that we have that we can actually deploy to support your business, and some very cool new things that we have coming that hopefully you guys will find, you know, very, very helpful. So with that, you guys don't want to hear me talk. I want to hand it over to Mr. David Rabin, our VP of Commercial Marketing. David, take it away.
And attendees, wherever you are in the world, whether it's morning or midday or evening, I really do want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedules and your chaotic schedules. I am very hopeful that the next 30 or so minutes will be a great use of your time. And as Steve said, I want to set the stage for what's happening in the business world. But before I set the stage for what's happening today, as I go to the next slide, I want to actually turn back the clock, about 3 weeks, and talk about what the world of working, remote office, and workplace transformation was like. And we have done a lot of research in this space, and in fact, we were already seeing a good deal of companies around the world beginning to make remote work a possibility. And in fact, some of the data we have shows that about 80% of folks in the US were actually working in some level of a remote optional company, and that's pre-COVID-19 days. And of course, there's many reasons that companies are beginning to evolve more of a remote working opportunity. The biggest reason, of course, being that if you are able to work remote, you dramatically increase your employee talent pool. But of course, there's a lot of complexity with working remote, and we'll begin to address that throughout the course of this call. This is not a new trend, but as we move into what's happening today in the current state, we have entered a period where almost all of the world is now seeing either a suggested, encouraged, or mandated work from home situation. Of course, this is ripe with challenges, and in fact, we see only about 1/3 of all corporate employees are saying that they are confident in their company's ability to operate normally if they need to work remotely. So what that led to for Lenovo was a very quick research study that we did over the last couple of weeks. It wrapped up on March the 16th, and we went out and surveyed 1,000 global companies to really get a handle as to what's happening in the world of preparation, as well as company and employees' confidence that their business would actually be able to move forward in the face of disruption. And I want to actually give you 3 different dimensions of the research, and hopefully this will be a little bit of guidance as to how you may be organizing your corporate remote strategies, as well as the technologies required to do so. So first, I want to give you the employee perspective. We're seeing at this point today that almost every company around the world is moving to this. In fact, as of March 16th, about 72% of companies either were encouraging or requiring this, and that number is probably more in the 80s to even 90% range right now. Most of the employees, though, that we talk to, though, have very, very mixed feelings on the technology that their employers have provided. And in fact, we're seeing this number of 56% are saying that they actually believe that they have the tools and technology to work from home, which of course presents both a problem and an opportunity for IT departments around the world. Now, if you look at the number on the bottom, I find this data to be quite fascinating, because even though we are still potentially at the early stages of the COVID-19 pandemic and what it's meaning for businesses around the world, about 3/4 of global companies are saying they believe this might lead to a somewhat permanent change in how employees work remotely, even after things return to normal. So again, as your organization continues to work through business continuity, you continue to determine what technologies are required to keep your business moving forward, you should also be thinking about how this might impact the future of work. Now, we run into an issue that is all over the place right now. If you're monitoring social media, if you're talking to your employees, if you're reading the news, and it has to do with workplace productivity. And here is where we run into some challenges, because for employees who are not used to working from home, it is a very, very different working environment. And our data shows that about half of all employees believe that productivity in a remote location, such as a home, is on par with what you'd see at the office. 15% actually believe that productivity increases, which of course means that about 1/3 of all the employees we surveyed believes that they lose productivity when they're working from home. So again, you've got 36% of your employees who need support from you, whether it's the technology, tools, or tips, to ensure that you can get maximum value out of them. Now, why does productivity decline? Well, of course, we have to learn to use tools. We have to learn to collaborate in ways we've never done before. But we also know that there are distractions abound. And in fact, half of the employees we surveyed believe that it's the distractions that are causing productivity loss. For some, like me, it might be that I'm closer to the refrigerator. For others that we talk to, it might be that they've got pets or children at home. For others, they have other distractions around the house that they're just not used to because they don't typically work there. It's up to us as IT professionals to encourage and work with our employees to remove the distractions as much as we can, but also recognize that people are people. They have lives outside of work. So how do we embrace the distractions and accept it? In fact, we've had conference calls, myself included, where my dog has wandered into the frame or started barking. And if that's the new normal, I think we can all learn to accept that. Now, finally, let's talk about whether employees have the right technology. And throughout the course of this conversation over the next 20 or 25 minutes, you will hear from some of my colleagues who talk about Lenovo's beliefs and Lenovo's position on the right technology to equip remote users. About 71% of the 1,000 companies we surveyed do believe that they have access to the technology they need. And of that 71%, about 80%, 79% said that the company did provide the technology, which of course means that 20% of the people had to go out and procure it on their own. Now, companies that are encouraging these employees to work from home, let's talk about what they're doing. So about 57% said that they were provisioning technology or tools needed to work from home. And as Joseph Migori will tell you shortly, as he's been talking to customers, there has been somewhat of a mad scramble for companies like yourselves to quickly procure technology to ship to home offices of employees to keep them productive. We're seeing significant proliferation of communication tools like the Zoom platform that we're on today, or Microsoft Teams. The numbers are stunning, the amount of skyrocketing we've seen of that, and about 38% of individuals that really had not adopted collaboration software have been forced to do that. And finally, it's about training. Many people are unable to even use basic collaboration functions like video and audio communications because they haven't really been forced to do it in the past. And we're seeing that about a third of all companies have actually taken training tips and deployed them to their companies. And Tom Butler, who's going to talk about our portfolio later, will actually talk through some of the Lenovo training tools that we have that can hopefully positively impact the education of your employees. So I hope that gave you a quick landscape of what's happening in the world today. Now I'm going to turn the microphone over to Joseph Mingori. Joseph runs our global smart office business. He's going to explain a little bit about collaboration, but also talk about what we're seeing from customers today. Joseph, all yours.
Okay, thank you, David. I want to thank you for sharing that very insightful information. It was very valuable and very timely for the rest of our discussion. Again, I'm Joseph Mingori. I'm the general manager of our worldwide smart office business group at Lenovo. And we started this business group in July 2018, and really we were focused on transforming collaboration, being a foundation for customers that are experiencing workplace transformation goals, and at the foundation, really focusing on employee experience. So with that, we had really 4 key pillars that we've been maniacally focused on in our end-to-end business across product development, our people, our customers. And the first one is very simple and fits right into today's discussion, and that's flexible work environments. We want to create solutions that have a better employee experience and allow anyone to work anytime, anywhere, and particularly working from home in hybrid type environments. And I'm excited with our product experts that are going to follow me that will take you through some of those solutions. But we didn't want to stop there. Really, we were focused on changing the game of engagement. Employee engagement, particularly in the US, is at an all-time low based on certain studies. And we firmly believe that tools like video can help bring colleagues closer together. And now that we're in this work from home transformation during this period, video becomes even more important so you can stay connected to your colleagues, and that we can host sessions like today and talk to our customers and look at everybody through video, ask questions, and share information back and forth. The next pillar really is around culture. And we all know, in particular, there's a great dynamic shift between different generations in the workforce, along with very competitive environments to retain and attract talent within your companies. And culture plays a significant part of this, and technology is a key driver of that culture. And that's something, by bringing our Think Smart brand into this market to build off of our legendary ThinkPad brand, is we've been focused on bringing top innovation that really allows employees to change how they communicate. And then finally, productivity. And David spoke about this during his session. It's critical that no matter how, when, or why you are working, that employees can be productive. And this comes with simple things like starting meetings on time, which forever has been a major pain point and frustration across any vertical, just simply starting a meeting with one touch. And we've got tools in place now that solve just the most. So that's why we're in the smart office business. We look forward to really changing how everybody collaborates and working with our partners like Microsoft, Zoom, and Google and others, and really working with you directly and changing how these solutions work in your environment. Now I want to move on, and as you can see on your screen, and talk about today and real life customer concerns and pain points. We have our teams all across the world staying close to our customers, supporting them in any fashion that we can, and extrapolating a lot of feedback. And based on many, many conversations and observations and this different conversations, we've really got this boiled down to 4 key areas of concern today, right now, that we're going to address in the subsequent sessions with the product experts around tech tools. Do employees in this migration to home have the right tools right now to be successful, to have a high level of employee engagement and a solid employee experience? The next one is, as everybody's rushing to all of these different video-enabled tools, How do all these different UC platforms work together? And how do employees make sense of them? How do they launch them on their different solutions? How do they make it meaningful that we don't create frustration and that we can provide platforms that allow people to communicate visually and effectively? The next big pain point is around tech support and simple device deployment. While David mentioned some fascinating statistics of a large flex employee environment pre this virus issue, clearly there's a lot of employees that never have worked from home, and we're very sensitive to their needs and to making sure that they can be successful getting set up in a home office environment. And then lastly, which is always incredibly important, is security. And our experts will talk to you about how Lenovo solutions are based on the top ThinkShield security applications in any environment across all of our different platforms. And with that, I want to pass this mic over to June Dayon, who will share some best practices as we move into this work at home environment. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks very much, Joseph. And hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. As Joseph said, my name is June Dayon. I'm a product manager in Smart Office, and so I actually work under Joseph's organization. And nearly half of his worldwide org works remotely right now, including me from Chicago. And the team was built up this way. So many of us have never worked in an actual Lenovo office as our primary workspace. So I wanted to share a couple of the key pieces that make our remote collaboration successful. And just keep in mind, none of this is platform specific. We have multiple partners. We work with Microsoft, with Zoom, with WebEx, with Hangouts. And so any combination of these, these tactics can apply. So first, cameras on. So the Smart Office org has evolved into a video on all the time for every meeting group. If we have a meeting, it's on video, and that may seem fairly obvious if you're already a video first work culture. And in that case, this COVID-19 disruption probably hasn't changed very much for you. But if your org is just starting out on the collaboration journey, meeting over video might not be as common quite yet. And just right now, especially how things are, conducting meetings with video can really help curb some of this isolation that some of us may start feeling. So as more and more people are asked to stay home and working from home, being able to see actual humans and being able to see their reactions to things, this is more important than ever. It does make for more productive meetings overall at any time, but especially now, this can help kind of bridge the gap that we are not getting in the offices that we normally would. Next, something we do on the product team in particular is similar to an agile stand-up meeting. So every day at about the same time, we have just a quick 15-minute call scheduled in all of our calendars. And we use it as a quick checkpoint. It isn't very formal like an agile stand-up meeting would be. But what we do is we just talk about what we're working on for that day and whether we need help from anyone or any things that we should keep in mind throughout the day. And because we're already all in different locations, this is kind of the equivalent of grabbing a cup of coffee in the little kitchen area if you were in the office. During this time, if you're working remote with your team, what it can do is it can create a predictable, steady event that your team can start to look forward to. And again, just bridging the gap with human contact and human interaction. And finally, this applies more for if you are just starting your collaboration journey, or if maybe you haven't settled in on one tool to handle everything, just go with what you have. Many of the tools overlap a little bit, but if you're already accustomed to using one particular platform for chat and another one for video, as long as your team can agree on what tool is being used for what function, then go with it, because it can definitely all work together. And finally, as you're looking at these tools that maybe you're not as familiar with, you can do something that I call feature hunting. So these are incredibly rich and powerful tools that you have, and often there's features that we're just not leveraging. And now is the time to kind of dig in and see what else you can do with them. So if that's finding a cool background that you can throw up during your meeting, or being able to email from, send an email into a chat platform and continue the conversation that way. There's multiple things you can do both with the desktop apps and the mobile apps, and now's the time to try them out. And with that, I'm going to hand off to my friend Tom Butler.
Thanks, June. Okay, so again, my name is Tom Butler, and what I wanted to do is now talk a little bit about the solutions that we have in place that can help you and your teams now that we're starting to work more from home and becoming more collaborative, and really take advantage of connecting us, because I think, as June just covered, really a lot of what we're going through right now is the disconnection of our working environment. A lot of us are used to working with teams in a collaborative fashion, and so part of this is to really drive, connections and enhance connections that we have with each other. So first, if you look at our core portfolio, so this is across our ThinkPad laptops, our ThinkVision monitors, our ThinkCenter all-in-ones, desktops. We have built-in collaboration tools that allow for you to, and your remote workers now, to easily collaborate and work with each other. So we've taken advantage of things like far-field microphones embedded on the laptops. So these allow you to pick up your voice. You can actually directionally tune the microphones, so it only picks up the voice in front of you and tunes out the noise around you. We've got great speakers powered by Dolby Audio Design on our ThinkPads, so you really have a conference room or speakerphone solution in each of your devices. But we also look at, what are some of the new challenges that are emerging. So many of us may have gone out to cafes for internet connection and use of Wi-Fi. A need for better connectivity through a wireless WAN option. So we have all of our portfolio offers that connection. We have fast response in terms of support for modern standby and smart standby. So your devices stay connected and updated even when they're in sleep state overnight. And then, if I look at the breadth of the portfolio across silicon diversity, some of you are concerned perhaps about supply. So we've basically built out our portfolio across both Intel and AMD parts to ensure that we have a continuity of supply for you. And then finally, probably one of the most important things, since we've moved to much more of a video collaboration and engagement, is our ThinkPads and ThinkCenters have built-in Think Shutter, which is a mechanical switch that immediately can close off your camera, which I'll do right now. So now you see me, now you don't, so to speak. But that allows you to, with certainty, turn off your camera if you're concerned about moving about during a video conference. So the next thing I want to talk about is, beyond just the devices, there are also several new things that your employees may be asking for. Not all of us can be in an open environment where we can use the, sort of a speakerphone capability. So, many of us are wearing headsets today because we've got, family, pets, other distractions around us. And so that gives us the ability to tune out and focus in on the conversation at hand. So if you look at our different accessory options, we have, of course, audio headsets. We have additional cameras that can be implemented. We also look at this as sort of a work from home model where you can start building out what you had at work. So you may want to have a docking connection that allows you to plug in additional monitors so you can have a second screen to refer to. We have, of course, keyboard, mice inputs. And we also have power banks. So if you're traveling or you're moving about outside of your home, again, you may not be able to plug into a local cafe at this point, so you've got the capability of bridging throughout your day. Then top of mind, as June and Joseph both called out, are security challenges. So if you think about, you've now got a geographically dispersed workforce, many working from home for the first time. There are concerns around connectivity How do you protect not only your employees' devices, but how do you protect the endpoints connected into your network? We've built in security by design into all of our platforms. So we have, around the sort of the broad view of Think Shield as our umbrella of security. We've got self-healing BIOS. We've got Wi-Fi security. So if you do connect to hotspots, you can identify if it's a safe and secure connection. Self-encrypting drives. We've also got multi-factor authentication capabilities. So these platforms really can, you can take advantage of fingerprint readers, IR cameras, location-based security login. So you got a lot of different choices to really secure the endpoint. But further, we've gone beyond that because we understand that now you're having to connect your endpoints, but you've also, there's sort of this heightened awareness, and we're seeing, unfortunately, more people or more groups start taking advantage of remote workers from home by implementing phishing scams, trying to take advantage of the heightened awareness we have during this pandemic. So we've partnered with SentinelOne to provide free access to SentinelOne licenses to help organizations stay protected during this pandemic. And what the SentinelOne platform provides is really an endpoint protection AI engine. And it sits local on the device, so you're not worried about connectivity. It stays live and updates and protects real time. It has a broad set of capability of looking at various threats across the spectrum. And more importantly, it resolves in real time and protects and heals and self-heals in real time, which eliminates some of the interaction that you may have to deal with with remote employees from a support perspective. So as I talk about support, one of the other things I want to highlight is Lenovo's Premier Support model. So we have advanced PC support solutions for your business. This offers dedicated technical support, so you're not dialing in at a level 1, but you're getting a level 2 dedicated support technician. It also provides a dedicated technical account manager. We basically want to just highlight and promote that we've got your back during this time, as always, but we want to make sure that you can lean on and rely on us for Premier support. And candidly, that allows you to free up some of the time that you're spending on triage and repair and focus more on the strategic projects and the response that you have to deal with as an organization. And then finally, David alluded to it earlier, but we have built-in education and training modules that you can deploy and send out for your end users. They're all captured here on this link, the Lenovo Support YouTube link. And these offer product self-help, setup, tips and tricks, and it's really a vast catalog of easy-to-use, quick-hit videos that allow you to push these out to your users, because many of them are now working from home for their first time and trying to overcome some of the challenges we've described on this call. So we want to make sure that we can arm you with as much data and information for your employees so they can be as productive and really just take some of that concern out of the day-to-day working.
I want to thank all of my presenters for their time and their expertise today. And then one on a kind of a little bit of a personal human note is that make sure that your teams are doing things that are not always work related. So that in this time where we're not used to seeing each other, not in the office, that social interaction is key. So, I mean, as an example, my team's having a happy hour virtually this evening, and we're bringing dogs and kids and everybody and just kind of getting on camera and talking and visiting. So remember to do some things that are not necessarily all work related, so that we can all kind of help each other through these times. A few last comments. Additionally, at Lenovo.com in the solutions sections, we have lots of this information already available that you can access and download about how to work remotely and some of the different offers around, a lot of the different product information. So please go check out the website and you'll find a lot of the information there. And then, of course, lastly, always, contact your local Lenovo account executive or account rep, and they can certainly help you and guide you through these times. And we are here to help. I did want to take time to thank, again, all of the presenters today. We appreciate it. I think you guys did great. And more importantly, I want to thank all of the attendees for showing up and taking time out of your days. Lenovo is here to help. These are crazy times. Please do take care of yourself. On behalf of myself, my team, the presenters, and everyone at Lenovo, thank you very much. You guys have a great day.